Welcome to English 104Z. I am Chris Risley, and I am your teacher this term, and I want to start off by saying, what if? Because what if is the phrase. If we were in the same room and I were able to teach this like normally, I would pause here and I would say something like, let's just let this silence kind of swirl around. Maybe until we were even a little bit uncomfortable. And you heard that correctly. You know, discomfort is a part of learning. I might allow our brains to just wander on this phrase, what if? You know, we could sit there thinking about it. What if, right? What is what if? Hopefully, somebody would say, maybe what if is an invitation, yes. Yeah, and then I would be able to say, because you guys would all be thinking, that's the thing. So even though you're where you are and I'm where I am, we're still here thinking. And I might say, an invitation to what, you know? Somebody else might say to possibility, to stepping just outside of what actually is and imagining what might be. We might say, what if is the moment that happens before the story begins? Because fiction is about story. It's about the storyteller, you know. When the storyteller pauses and writes, what happens? Well, truth happens, you know. It's truth according to the writer, and the writer has a truth to share. And that's where we have to start. This term we're going to be reading a story by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, and she's pissed off, okay? She's written a story called Apollo. That's what she's pissed off about something, and I need to spend some time talking to you about it and saying, she's pissed off. Your job's going to be to figure out, what is she pissed off about, right? What does it have to do with what if, right? So to get to what if really means, we get to our first literary term in this class, suspension of disbelief. And we've probably all heard about it, right? It's what's enjoyable about fiction. And, bugs. It means that in some sense we need to believe what an author is telling us, well, at the very least, that it's plausible. We need to believe that it's plausible. The details might all be made up, but what they're saying is plausible, right? So the phrase suspension of disbelief, that is attributed to Samuel Taylor Coleridge, poet and philosopher from the 1800s, and it's from his work Biographia Literaria, written in 1817, and you're probably thinking, hey, wait a second, that sounds like stuff I should take notes on. Well, I wanted to introduce you to the idea that I make a lot of these videos. I like people to watch them, and so I do quiz on the videos. And so, yeah, when I say Samuel Taylor Coleridge and, you know, that he's associated with that phrase, you might want to write that down because there will be quizzes in this class. I'm just introducing you. Don't run away. We're going to have a great time. In fact, my students they tell me that they appreciate that I quiz because it gets them to watch, it gets them to lean in and take some notes. And honestly, as simple, like on this quiz, I might say something like, who is credited with introducing the concept of suspension of disbelief? And it might say A, George Orwell, or B, Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, C, Samuel Taylor Coleridge, D, Harold Bloom. It's C, Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Oh, that's a dog toy. Sorry about that. And that's the kind of stuff that you might see on these quizzes. They'll get deeper as we go, but that's what we do. And if you miss something, let's say you think, oh, I missed something, you can rewind. The answer is going to always be in these videos. You can, you know, check them out. So I make these so that we can enhance our experience of fiction, explaining to you about this notion of suspension of disbelief. That's going to help. But what's going to help more is that you understand that when writers sit down to write something, there's something that's unsettled them, right? And let me explain. So we'll do a little experiment. Almost all of us have watched Star Wars, A New Hope, Episode 4, right? So a handsome, whiny farm boy acquires an R2 unit and discovers that a beautiful princess is in trouble. She's fighting against a distant empire, right? You guys all know the story. A rebellion doesn't stand a chance, and yet somehow it does, right? That's the story of Star Wars. But behind that story, something was bothering the writer. George Lucas, he mentioned this to James Cameron, a Terminator director, and this is a fiction class, but we all have films in common, and so I can talk about that. So anyway, right. So our man, George Lucas, he's from the 60s, and he builds that movie Star Wars in the 70s. But I mean, he grew up in the 60s, and we were having a war with Vietnam, and that war pissed him off. And he had gotten enough fame in Hollywood that he could write a movie, and he wanted to write about the Vietnam War, but instead of writing about the Vietnam War explicitly, he wrote about it implicitly with symbolism. He asked, what if a small, scrappy rebellion could stand against a massive empire? Well, who do you think the massive empire was in this whole Vietnam War thing? That was us. We were the imperialists. We were the empire. But he did it. He told the story about people far, far away in a galaxy far, far away, right? Why? Because he knows that people don't want to be told what to do. They don't want to be told what to think. They don't want to believe their rulers are selfish, self-seeking thieves. We all want to believe that our system has our best interest in mind. But no government. We want to believe that no government would kill innocent children in the jungle and drop napalm on innocent babies and send them screaming through the streets. You can look that up on YouTube. You don't have to. In fact, I wouldn't. So George Lucas wrote Star Wars because he was pissed off. Now, a lot of writing gets written that way, but it hides the actual thing that it's writing about. It puts it under the surface, right? That's what writers do. Something unsettles them, something doesn't sit right. Instead of arguing directly, and that's somebody else's job, they build a universe, right? A galaxy far, far away. And they invite us in, right? So that we can experience it. That's what fiction is. And that what if we're paying attention, we'll start to see that the what if is everywhere. This class will start showing us how to dig down into fiction. We're going to see that in Apollo. There's something. I told you I started off this video by mentioning that there's something that's unsettled Chimananda Ngozi Adichie. She wants to talk about, but she can't. And if you've never connected Star Wars with the Vietnam War, well, thank you. It's been a pleasure. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get you excited about our work. This class is going to teach us how to figure out what's motivating all stories. You're going to be looking at symbolism. And once you start seeing it, you can't unsee it, right? Let's talk a little bit more about Star Wars, right? Darth Vader's got that shiny, black, mechanical mask, He's more a machine than a person. What does that suggest? Well, it's power without humanness, right? Control with no compassion. There's a Death Star, right? What's that a symbol of, right? It's it's a weapon that can destroy worlds. Was Lucas saying that was capitalism? I don't know. George Lucas literally gave away $4 billion to education. So what might the Death Star stand for? It's just simply imperial power, absolute control. The ability to decide who gets to exist. And then colors can be symbolic. So we have Princess Leia, right? Luke Skywalker. They're both dressed in white at the beginning. Symbols of hope and innocence and goodness, right? But my son reminds me that the stormtroopers are also dressed in white. So sometimes color's just going to be in opposition to the bad guy, right? Which is, so they're pawns, right? But even Luke Skywalker, even his name carries this kind of symbolic weight. You know, he's one of the writers of the Gospels. He's an apostle. His stories are about justice and about lifting up the poor, about seeing what other people ignore. Is that accidental, that name? So once we start asking questions, we're not just watching a movie anymore, we're reading it, and we're reading stories, right? And that's what we're going to be doing. Symbolism is just one element of fiction that we're going to be diving into. We're also going to look at character, right? It's not just who someone is, but what they want, why they want it, what's driving them, what they're willing to do to get it, right? We're going to be looking at setting, where things happen. Why there? Why the ocean? Why the desert? Right? Why is there emptiness? Why is there crowdedness? Why is it so tight? I can't, right? You're going to be looking at conflict also. Really, I personally, and you'll be getting some of my bias, you know, so watch out for me and my bias, because I can't talk about conflict without talking about power. Who has it? Who has it? Who doesn't have it? There's a lot of that in the fiction that is out there. Who wants it? Who wants ultimate power, right? So we're going to be looking at point of view. Who gets to tell the story? From whose perspective is this, right? And just as important, what are they not telling us, right? We're going to be looking at theme. That's not just the plot, not just what happens, but what it means. And that's what this whole little video is being about, is what it means. What's the writer really saying? What's underneath everything, right? Hopefully, we will become active readers. And that's what this class is about. You've got a favorite piece of short fiction. Have you thought about what might have unsettled the writers that you like to get them to sit down and write something? Think about that. Maybe we can talk about that in our intro. And when we turn to Apollo, we're going to bring all of these ideas because just like Star Wars, that story didn't come out of nowhere, right? It came from something that bothered the writer. And our job is to sort of see what a writer has been traumatized by, in some sense, you know? It is, I think, life is, God, my arm is actually getting really I hesitate to switch arms, but it's been a second, right? So, that feels so much better. So, yeah, what triggers a writer to write what they write? Some of us in the class are writers. What triggers you? What makes you want to sit down and tell a story? What makes anybody? You have some favorite fiction already, maybe. What might the writer of that piece of fiction have experienced, right? Somebody writes about a blank. Maybe they have some experience with a blank. Maybe a blank happened to somebody that they know. I'm using blank to keep it light. This is the first video. There's a lot of stories about a lot of things out there, right? Here, let me just sort of riff on another one. We're not reading Moby Dick this term. I did read Moby Dick in college, but I had 16-week terms. I wish we had. We're going to be reading a lot of beautiful material this term, but it won't be. If I were to get like 20 messages from everybody saying, no, I want to read Moby Dick, we can do it. I swear to God, we can do it. I can do it, because this term, this is a different term for me. This 104 class isn't like any other 104 class that I'm teaching. I'm building it. You're going to notice that our shell is a little bit empty. It'll have my phone number in it, right? You'll be calling me. You'll be trying to click these links that have paid off for you. Look, the week is open, but nothing else. And then you click assignments and they're all there. That's not going to happen this term because I don't have them. I mean, I have them, but I haven't ported them over. We're just like week 1 is going to start, and we'll do the work in week 1, and I don't know. I'll come out here to the backyard. I'll come up with week 2. We're going to do it that way. I'm just letting everybody know that it's not. It's just. It's a good time. It's a good time to. I don't know. Slow down. It's wild. So we're also going to be reading this term. Oh, I was just talking about Moby Dick, and so what pissed him off? And by the way, well, you're lucky. I mean, you're not lucky. I think that I'm a very engaging lecturer, but I can lose my place sometimes. And I did just. We're not doing Moby Dick. I don't want anybody to panic. It's a very big book. I love it, and I don't want to spoil it for anybody. But if I had to answer that question, what was under that kid's skin when he sat down to do it? He wanted to build a career. And writers do. Writers do want to build careers. That's why they sit down. That's what gets them. Who wants to be famous? Who wants to, they want to build a career. They want that. But I hope this doesn't spoil it too bad. I mean, it's Moby Dick. Everybody should know it. Allow me to just say this. I won't spoil it. I swear. I swear to goodness, I won't. But what if I told you that, and I haven't even looked up to see what the other eggheads think, but when I really think back on Moby Dick, I think he was talking about how we can get obsessed with materialism. The story is about somebody who's supposedly obsessed with that a whale took his leg, but really he's just in an industrial system, and by killing whales, he's making money. And so in some sense, it's very easy to begin to look at that story and go, sure, we could be, maybe the message is don't get obsessed with revenge. And that's enough, but you could look a little bit deeper and go, don't get obsessed with making so much damn money. Because that can lead to a person getting flattened by a whale. Sorry, spoilers. I did spoil it. Captain Ahab doesn't make it. I'm so sorry. I've just ruined it. No, I haven't. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows that that's his undoing. A book that we are reading this term is George Orwell's 1984. We're going to be sections of it anyway. So I'm going to provide some sections of that book. We get to talk about that. I already told you that we're reading Apollo. And I think we're going to read Big Blonde by Dorothy Parker. I haven't taught some of these things in a while. I'm trying to I'm mixing it up for me too. I'm probably going to bring back the greatest hits. Don't worry about it. Anyway, and by don't worry about it, I mean oh no, are you going to miss something? No, I'll keep all the good stuff. I got a lot of good stuff. But there's a couple branches I could prune a little bit, tighten it up. Anyway, I wanted you to meet me, not in person. I think it's always good to meet my dog, who eats everything. This is Wesley. Wesley's, what is he doing? Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy, what are you doing? Say hi. What? That's the dog. Yeah, buddy. You want to go for a walk? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Are we going to go? You bet. Ah! He's eating me now. Okay, there. So now he's very excited. Yeah. So here's my phone number. It's in the class. It's all over. You're never going to be not know anything, because you can just text me. 541-250-1652. We're going to have a fantastic... Oh, a friend's visiting. I got to go, but I'm pretty much done. So I will see you online.